Hello, Ramona. I can't shake the simplest feeling beyond the ghost. We stand on the opposite shore. Hello, Ramona.
Today I am going to dig up and separate my dahlia tubers. So this was my first year growing dahlia tubers, so this will be my first time digging them up and separating them, storing them for our winter season. So from what I've learned, I've watched a couple of videos. The one gardener that I do like to follow is Erin from The Impatient Gardener. She was one of the first gardeners that I started following and watched her dahlia tuber videos. I'll put a link to some of her stuff below in the description below the video. But it's my first time doing this, so I have to pick a technique or a way to do this. Digging them up, cleaning them off, and then letting them dry. So I'll let them dry for a couple of days, and then I'm going to pick up some of the, I think it's animal bedding, some wood chips, and store them in a plastic container. We don't have a basement, so my next option then is our garage. Our garage is heated, but it'll still stay cool. I think it's set to like 15 degrees for the winter, and it'll stay relatively humid in there, which from some of the videos I've watched, having some kind of moisture for your dahlia tubers while they're in storage is okay, but you don't want them to be wet by any means. So I think the garage is I think it's my only option, and it's my first season. We'll try it this year. If it doesn't work, I'll have to figure out a different way for next year. But today we'll be digging the tubers and cleaning them off and letting them dry out, and then it's like snowing leaves from this tree up here. Oh, it's so pretty. Anyways, out here in the garden in the fall, it's actually really nice out here. I'm gonna check on the fish. Maybe we'll feed the fish. Let's go see what they're doing.
Honestly, don't. I should be the last to know.
There's one of the fishies. Let's go down here to the dock and see what they're up to. Oh, Wilma has fallen over. This is Wilma and Betty, are my flamingos out here at the pond. I guess I should put them away for the winter. Poor Wilma. Let's see if we have any fish in the pond today. Fishy, fishy, fishy.
Hello.
So in the summer, we don't see much of the goldfish because this pond gets to about, what was it, I think 82. I think one day we actually had 88 degrees on the top of the water in the pond just from the summer heat. So the goldfish, we don't see much of them in the summer, but in the spring and in the fall, we get a lot more activity from the goldfish. The koi, they're always around. We have 4 big koi in this pond. 2, what are they? White and orange colored. I don't know the name of these koi, and we have 2 black and white koi, which we call them the legendary blacks. There's some goldfish coming.
Show me where the ending goes. Honestly don't. I should be the last to know. We're all in this. I stand alone. Show me where the ending goes. Honestly don't. I should be the last to know. Hello, Ramona. I mistook you for a dream. The engine glows, and I guess you always seem to know. Hello, Ramona. I push back the serious feeling. The end's unknown. To get back the life I used to know.
Well, I've said hello to our fishies. Pretty slow moving. That water's probably pretty cold. I didn't check what the temperature of it was, but lots of fishies. Now, I will grab my stuff that I need. I think I just need to get a fork to dig up these dahlias with. So that will be out here. So this is our bunkie at the pond, and the pond there behind me with the, my hair's all sticking out funny. Anyways, there's our pond, the dock, and I was just feeding the fish down there on the dock. One of the projects we did the other day on the bunkie out here at the pond, we put out these little twinkle lights all along the edge of the bunkie, which from the house, they look awesome. I wanted to put them across the patio, but I don't have anywhere really to string them on the patio. It would be nice to have like a little gazebo or something and make it all cozy up there. Maybe someday, but for now, these little patio lights have gone around the bunkie. We have them on a timer, and I'll show you what they look like at night. They look pretty cool. But out here, there is somewhere a fork to dig up these dahlias with. I think, yes, it's this one here with the green handle. The fork. So we'll start with this and see how they go. So apparently when you're digging up your dahlia tubers, you don't want to damage the tubers. So I'm going to try and dig them so that I don't end up cutting any of them. And once I get them out of the ground, we'll take a look and see what we've got. But I have tomatillos that came out, so I got the last of those. I'm going to try and make some salsa with that. I have no idea what I'm doing with them, but I have some tomatillos and some carrots. Now, I don't think this bed here got much sun this season. So let me show you what my carrots turned out like this year. Really, they can only get better, right? So next year, I've got a whole new garden space over there, and we can only ask for better stuff from that, right? Of course. So my little tiny carrots. Oh, look at this. This is what I grew for my carrots. Isn't that the cutest thing? Let's call them Artisan gourmet carrots. We'll put them on a little plate, maybe with a little tiny piece of, you know how you get in those fancy restaurants, you get like the smallest portions ever? These are those kind of carrots. So Artisan carrots, little tiny carrots. That's all I got. And believe me, the rest of them weren't any bigger than that, if not this being the biggest carrot I have grown this year. But I grew it. I grew this from seed, all by myself. We'll try again next year. Okay, so I just pulled another one. Look at the size of that. Look at that carrot. I have no idea what kind of carrots these are. Maybe they're supposed to look like that. What do you think? Show me what your carrots look like, or give me some tips, because I think we're going to be pretty hungry if this is the only carrots that we end up this year. But anyways, we have tiny, short, fat little carrots. Okay, so the first thing I have to do is cut off the main stems of all these dahlias. So I'm going to start with that with just some pruners, some cutters, trimmers. These are just dollar store trimmers. They work, I find, just as good. And if I need to replace them, I just buy new ones. Someday I will invest in a good pair, but for today we have dollar store trimmers. Okay, so I've cut off most of the growth from all of the stems of the dahlias. I've left quite a bit of stem so I can still see where my tubers are. I'm gonna go grab my picture of where I planted what so I can kind of label them as we go so I know which dahlia tuber is which. So hopefully we can get them labeled correctly, and then next year when I plant them, I'll know what I'm planting. Okay, so I found my list. So these are all my dahlias that I planted. How many are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So there's 12 different tubers in here that I have to find and label. So I'm going to label them with, sorry, I have my gloves in my arm. I don't have any like labeling tags or anything. All I have is some tape. So I'm going to write the names of the tubers on the tape as they come out of the ground. So I planted them in order, starting at the back with the trellis. So the first one is Mystery Day, and it was my favorite. It was this purpley colored one with the white tips, and I'll put some pictures up of the dahlias that I got this year. But overall, they were one of the easiest flowers to grow. So I'm excited to start them again next year. Let's start digging. So there's one of my first tubers that I've dug up, and it has this big long root with these little tubers on the side. So, oh, they do have some big eyes on them, so I think that'll be good to keep. We'll let them dry out. One of them did break off, so once I get them cleaned up, I'll probably take that one off because that one won't be any good. But overall, I think these are looking pretty good. That one is Mystery Day. So I'll do up a quick label and put that one in the bin.
Do we need to go this far? We do know who we are. Can we make this
Tag them like that for now and see how it goes.
somewhere close?
But there's dahlia number 1.
Let's find out. I know I never felt this way. People change, but it feels like we stay the same. Every time you look at me, I'm heating up at least a third degree. Do we need to go this far? We do know who we are.
No, we're not being bombed. Again, I think from one of my other videos, I told you we live next to a military base, and apparently today they are bombing something over there. We're all good here. So I have one tuber that I knew, let me back up this one. So I have one tuber that I knew the stem had gotten damaged earlier in the season and couldn't really find it. So I just dug into the ground and found these tubers. So I'm gonna just try and label it with the tape the best I can. But it was easy to find. I remembered where I had planted it, so I just dug down the spot I thought it was, and sure enough, I found it. Okay, that one's labeled. Last one done. So this is the tubers that I got. I'm gonna take them over to the table and I'll show you them over here. Okay, so I have brought the tubers over to the table here, and I'll show you what they look like. They turned out pretty good from what I can tell so far. Some of them did break off, but I got them all labeled according to my planting sheet. There's 12 of them. I did get 12 tubers out of the ground, but here, let me show you what I got. So I'm going to clean them up a bit. Oh, there's a worm. There's a worm in one of them. I'll have to put him back into the garden. But which one should I show you? One of the last ones I dug out. So some of them did break off as I was digging them, but I'm just going to wash them all off, clean them up. Hopefully my makeshift labels stay on as best I can for now. Just once I clean them up, I'll get some real, maybe I'll see if the nursery has some nursery labels so that I can tie them up before I actually store them. But for now, that's what I've labeled them with. But for a first year growth, like these went in the ground as 1 or 2 little tiny tubers. So I've got quite a bit on most of them with eyes already starting on them. I'm gonna wait until the spring to separate these. After I've stored them and see which ones kind of make it through the winter. Again, it's my first year storing dahlias, so that's the method I'm going to try for this year. For now, I'm just going to wash these up and we'll get most of this dirt off and see what they look like. Okay, so I have them all washed off and they look, oh, this one needs a trim. But they all look pretty good. You can see where the original tuber was on most of these that I planted in the spring, and they've definitely all got multiple tubers and eyes that are starting on most of them. So we will let these dry for now. Oh, I wanted to show you this one. This one is by far my biggest tuber that I have. So once you get them all cleaned out, you can see in here all the little eyes that are starting. So that's what you want to look for in the spring when you split them. You want to split them so that you have an eye with a tuber to plant. So some of these are broken and they will get cut off before I store them. This one's, you can see this one got broken and this one's broken here. But there are still some pretty good ones on most of these. I'll let them dry out and we'll continue with this in a couple of days. So it's a couple days later, my dahlias have all dried up nicely. Or not dried up, they've dried out. So I rinsed them all off, got all the dirt off them, and now I'm going to put them into bins with some wood chip shavings for winter storage. So I was driving around the other day and found these two black bins, which are perfect for storing dahlia tubers. Exactly what I was looking for, and found them on the side of the road. Somebody was getting rid of them. They were out with a bunch of other free stuff that they wanted somebody to take, so I said that'll work for me. Put them in the car, and here we go. So the first thing I'm going to do is line these with some newspaper. Good ventilation. There's even the bottoms even have holes in them. They're perfect. They remind me of what your bulbs would come in if you ordered a bunch of bulbs. Not that I have ever ordered this amount of bulbs, but I've seen some other videos on YouTube where they get crates and crates of thousands of bulbs, and they come in something similar to this. So that's what I'm going to use for my dahlia tubers. Also, some bedding or pet bedding. These are pine chips, I believe. So just some wood chips that I'm going to put down on top of the newspaper, and then I'll start layering in my tubers. I'll cut off most of these stems and try and fit in what I can in these two bins. I only have 12 tubers, so my first year growing dahlias. I ordered them online last spring from Costco, and it was just a mix of dahlias for my first year, and planted them, and they were easy to grow, and they did really well. So to start with, let's get some newspaper in these bins. Okay, so let's start with this bin here, and we'll just line it with some newspaper first.
All in this, I stand alone. Show me where the ending goes. Honestly don't. I should be the last.
Okay, so I have my bin with newspaper down, and we'll start with some of these wood chips, wood shavings, pet bedding, whatever you want to call it. Okay, so what's the best way? Dump some of this in here like this. Okay, so that is my first layer of wood chips inside the bin, lined with some newspaper. So my tubers. So they all look pretty good. I'll cut off like these ones that are broken. So I'll take that one off now because I don't want them to rot in here over the winter. So any of them that look damaged, like some of these little ones that have the tips broken off, I don't really know. That looks like one of the original tubers that I planted in the spring. Get rid of this leaf. So we'll cut off any that don't really look good. I don't want them to rot, because if they start rotting in the bin, they can spread throughout the whole tuber. So we'll get rid of the ones that broke off. Cut them. I'm going to cut this one off because that was the original, one of the original tubers. Okay, so I think that looks pretty good for my first one. Get rid of that little piece there as well. Okay, so we'll try that. For now, I'm just leaving my piece of tape on here. I did find a link through Amazon that has the tags that I was looking for, but I haven't gotten those yet. I've just ordered them, so they'll be coming, and I'll replace those pieces of tape once I get the tags. And I'll put a link in the video as well where you guys can grab those. But you can put the tags on the tubers with you can see all these nice eyes that are starting. That's what we're going to look for in the spring. They'll be a little bit bigger and easier to find if you wanted to split your tubers. But for now, I'm just going to leave these pieces of tape on here with the name, and then in the spring when I get these out, I will replace them with the tags that I have ordered. And you can plant your tubers with those tags right on them. So then when you dig them next fall, you'll already have your name tag on them, and you won't have to relabel them. So let me just cut down some of the stem. Okay, so I've cut down the stem. I don't want to lose my tape, so maybe I'll just wrap that around there like that. And now I will put my first tuber in this bedding here. That one fits nicely in the corner. We'll cover some of that up, and we'll keep going, trimming up these tubers as we go, and getting them packed away.
I stand alone. Show me where the ending goes. Honestly don't. I should be the last to know. Hello, Ramona. I can't shake the simplest feeling beyond the ghost. We stand on the opposite shore. Hello, Ramona. I reach through mysterious ceilings.
So here is the finished bin of my dahlia tubers.
I look for the things
Most of them looked pretty good. Some of them still had some little broken pieces, but I've left them, and we'll see how they look in the spring. I'll check on them over the winter just to make sure that nothing's rotting in there or getting too dried out. But for now, we have them clean, dry. Well, first we dug them, cleaned them, labeled them dry, and into an aerated bin with some pet bedding, which is just your wood shavings. So I've tried to separate most of the tubers so none of them are touching as best I could, and wiggled in the bedding to try and get it down in between them. I'm going to keep my chart of what it is that's in there. They are all labeled and tucked away, so hopefully in the spring we will have some more dahlia tubers to plant.
Hello, I mistook you for a dream. The engine glows, and I guess you always seem to know. Hello, Ramona. I push back the serious heat.